In 1972, four young Scotsmen were living the dream. They had a rock band, they were recording albums, and they were going out on tour. But they were still missing the one thing that truly mattered, a hit song. With several albums failing to sell, the money running out, and their manager on the verge of walking away, everything was about to fall apart. Until the unthinkable happened. A sad ballad, dismissed by the band themselves, became their unexpected lifeline. This is the story of how Nazareth went from complete obscurity to becoming legends of 1970s rock. Let's begin. In the early 1960s, in the quiet Scottish town of Dunfermline, a young schoolboy named Pete Agnew made an important decision. He wanted to start a rock band. A fan of the bass guitar and the melodies pouring out of the radio at the time, Pete had a simple goal: playing music with his friends and achieving a modest level of success within his local community. And so, in 1961, the Chadettes were born. A humble group dedicated to covering the hits of the moment, they played dances, local events, and small stages around town. Their visual trademark? Perfectly coordinated yellow suits that gave them a fun, eye-catching identity. For years, they remained part of that local circuit. Constant lineup changes, endless rehearsals, and dreams still taking shape. They were well known in their hometown, but they were still, at heart, a cover band. But something was about to change. New members would soon arrive, not only bringing talent, but a different vision, a spark that would ignite a transformation, taking them far beyond anything they had ever imagined. By the mid-1960s, the Chadettes were preparing for a new chapter. In 1965, a young man named Dan McCafferty joined the group. Not as a musician, but as a roadie, responsible for setting up and looking after the equipment during local gigs. But fate had something else in mind for him. One night, just moments before a show, the band's lead singer suddenly quit. With no time to find a replacement, the members remembered Dan, that raspy-voiced kid they had heard singing along in the van during long drives. Maybe, just maybe, he could save the night. And he did. Dan stepped on stage with no rehearsal and no preparation. What followed stunned everyone. His rough, powerful, unmistakable voice instantly captivated the audience. From that night on, he became the band's official lead singer. In 1967, Daryl Sweet joined the lineup, a 16-year-old drummer with experience in pipe bands. His energy fit perfectly from the very start. But the real turning point came in 1968, with the arrival of guitarist Manny Charlton. His addition meant far more than just another instrument. He brought a new vision. It was Manny who first suggested they stop playing only covers and start writing their own songs. The musical landscape was on their side as well. This was the era of bands like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and Spooky Tooth, all pushing boundaries and redefining the limits of hard rock. With Manny Charlton on guitar, Dan McCafferty on vocals, Pete Agnew on bass, and Daryl Sweet on drums, the band was no longer the same. They were ready to write their own songs. They were ready to take the leap. The moment to become Nazareth had arrived. With the band now fully formed and determined to write their own material, 1968 marked a decisive turning point. It was time to leave the name The Chadettes behind. According to the story, one night in a local bar, as they debated possible new names, a song began playing on the jukebox, The Wait by the band. The opening line immediately caught the attention of Pete Agnew. I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about half past dead. Without overthinking it, he suggested a name, Nazareth. Short, powerful, mysterious, and a subtle nod to one of their influences. Everyone agreed. It was perfect. But a new name alone wasn't enough. To take the next step, they needed real backing. And that support arrived in the form of Bill Fahily, a Scottish businessman who had made his fortune in the bingo industry. Fahily decided to take a chance on the band and became their manager. Thanks to his financial backing, the group made a bold move in 1970, relocating to London, the very heart of the British rock scene. There, just 1 year later, Nazareth would enter a professional recording studio for the first time to record their debut album. And what emerged from those sessions would mark the true beginning of their legend, as I'll tell you next. Nazareth made their recording debut in 1971 with their self-titled album released on Pegasus Records. It featured original songs such as Dear John and Country Girl, alongside a powerful cover of Morning Dew by Tim Rose. The album received some attention in Germany, but in the United Kingdom it went largely unnoticed. The following year, they released Exercises, a softer, more acoustic record that included tracks like 1692, Glencoe Massacre, and an early version of Woke Up This Morning. Once again, however, the album failed to make an impact with either the public or the critics. Despite relentless touring, the band still couldn't break into the charts or gain the recognition they desperately sought. During these difficult years, Nazareth opened for artists such as Rory Gallagher and Atomic Rooster, though not every experience was encouraging. In Nuremberg, for example, they were booed off the stage before playing a single note. Still, they refused to give up, playing constantly and slowly building a reputation on the live circuit. Ironically, it was during this very period that Nazareth helped a young and relatively unknown band called Deep Purple, recommending them to Scottish promoters and helping them secure several shows. That gesture of generosity was not forgotten. And in time, it would prove crucial to Nazareth's destiny. As the years passed, their relationship with Deep Purple grew stronger. Once Purple became a global success, they invited Nazareth to open their tours across Europe and the Americas. Guitarist Ritchie Blackmore was captivated by the raw, gritty voice of Dan McCafferty, even offering him a place in his own band. But it was Roger Glover who would play the most decisive role. After hearing Nazareth's new material, Glover offered to produce their next album. The test came with Broken Down Angel, a song originally rooted in country music, transformed into a powerful hard rock anthem. The result convinced manager Bill Fahily to invest fully in a new record. That album was Razamanaz, released in 1973 and produced by Glover, featuring tracks like Bad Bad Boy, Razamanaz, and the breakout single Broken Down Angel. The record propelled Nazareth into the UK Top 10. The change was dramatic. They went from unknown opening act to headlining venues and appearing on major television shows of the era. In just 15 months, the band released 3 albums: Razamanaz, Loud and Proud, which included their hit cover of This Flight Tonight by Joni Mitchell, and Rampant, recorded in Montreux with the collaboration of John Lord. At last, the band had found both its sound and its audience, but the true breakthrough, the one that would turn Nazareth into a worldwide phenomenon, was still to come, and it would arrive through a song no one saw coming. In 1975, Nazareth reached international stardom with Hair of the Dog, their 6th studio album, and the first produced by guitarist Manny Charlton. Recorded in just 9 days, the album cemented their sound as a hard rock powerhouse, driven by tracks like Hair of the Dog, whose thunderous riff and provocative chorus turned it into a radio anthem across the United States. But the album's true global breakthrough came from an entirely unexpected song. Love Hurts. Carried by the raw, wounded voice of Dan McCafferty and crowned by an emotionally charged guitar solo, the ballad became a worldwide phenomenon, reaching the top 10 in the United States, Canada, Norway, and several other countries. Album sales soared past 2 million copies, fueled largely by the overwhelming success of that single track. Although Love Hurts was not an original composition, having first been recorded by the Everly Brothers in 1960, Nazareth gave it an entirely new meaning. After recording more than 40 takes, they arrived at a version so intense and emotionally devastating that many listeners consider it the first great rock power ballad. Initially, the band viewed the song as a backup plan, a secondary track, never meant to be the centerpiece, but its impact far exceeded anything they had imagined. The success of Love Hurts firmly established Nazareth as one of the essential rock bands of the 1970s, and left an indelible mark on the history of rock ballads forever. Following the success of Hair of the Dog, Nazareth kept up a steady pace of releases throughout the remainder of the 1970s. Albums such as Close Enough for Rock and Roll, 1976, Play in the Game, 1976, and Expect No Mercy, 1977, showcased an active and versatile band, though none managed to fully replicate the impact of their earlier breakthroughs. Amid this period, Nazareth suffered a tragedy that would leave a permanent mark on the band. In 1976, their manager Bill Fahily was killed in a plane crash. In a bitter twist of fate, the band was touring alongside Lynyrd Skynyrd at the time. Skynyrd drummer Artemis Pyle had invited the members of Nazareth to a barbecue before the next show, but they chose not to attend. Their excuse was simple. They claimed they had interviews to do to promote their album. Years later, Pete Agnew would explain the real reason. After seeing the condition of the plane and noticing that the pilot had been partying the night before, they felt a bad omen and decided to stay away. That instinct saved their lives, but it couldn't save their manager, who did board the ill-fated flight. A new burst of energy arrived in 1978 with the addition of guitarist Zal Clemenson. His presence pushed the band toward a heavier sound on No Mean City, 1979, often considered one of the heaviest albums of their career. Singles like May the Sunshine and Star even found success in the UK. As the new decade began, Nazareth attempted to adapt to changing musical trends with Malice in Wonderland, 1980. While the album was well received by some, it failed to meet commercial expectations, and Clemenson soon departed the band. With a refreshed lineup, they released the live album Snaz in the early 1980s, followed by the lighter 2XS in 1982, which performed better in the United States. Albums such as Sound Elixir, 1983, The Catch, 1984, and Cinema, 1986, reflected their struggle to remain relevant amid growing indifference from British record labels. Despite this, Nazareth found a new and devoted audience in Eastern Europe. They became the first Western rock band to bring a full-scale production to countries of the Soviet Union, filling stadiums in Poland and Russia. Their music endured, even when their homeland seemed to have turned its back on them. After the departure of Manny Charlton in 1989, Nazareth entered a new era, marked by constant lineup changes and a sound that struggled to keep pace with the times. Billy Rankin briefly returned for No Jive, 1991, followed by albums like Move Me, 1994, and Boogaloo, 1998. While these records showed commitment and effort, they failed to recapture the spark of the band's golden years. In 1999, tragedy struck once again. Drummer Daryl Sweet died suddenly, delivering a devastating blow to the group. His son, Lee Agnew, stepped in behind the drum kit, but the original flame was already beginning to fade. As the years passed, Nazareth continued to tour, yet the energy and identity that once defined them slowly began to slip away. Dan McCafferty, the soul and unmistakable voice of the band, retired in 2013 due to health issues. In 2022, he passed away, just months after the death of Manny Charlton. The current lineup, featuring Carl Sentence on vocals, Jimmy Murrison on guitar, and Lee Agnew on drums, keeps the name alive. But for many fans, it no longer feels the same. Today, Nazareth is more memory than active band. Their music lives on in records, in worn-out vinyl, and in the minds of those who experienced their glory years firsthand. What was once an unstoppable force in hard rock now exists mainly in the realm of nostalgia, a legend that refuses to die, yet truly survives only in the hearts of its longtime fans. What's fascinating is that while Nazareth were leaving their mark across Eastern Europe, through the melancholy of Love Hurts on the other side of the continent, a Swedish quartet called a BBA was shaping another sad ballad, without knowing it would touch the hearts of millions, especially throughout Latin America. That is the story I'll tell you in the next video. Click now, and I'll see you there, my rock friend.